It's your boy SyncroChamp back at it again with another Reddit recap, this time for the month of September. The first post that I saw on the Play Avengers subreddit that really caught my eye was this one regarding Kamala and her ability to be a cosplayer in the video game and wear suits of other characters. And that's a genius idea. It would fit her character so incredibly well, and I would love to see this. She already kind of does this by wearing their merch shirts, but taking it to a whole nother level and having her dress up as the characters would be incredibly fun and flavorful, and I'd really love to see her character delve into this craft. That's a whole level of representation for people that do cosplay. That's a fun idea, and I love it very much. But especially with Spider-Man coming out, I think her power set and his outfit would kind of mesh in a way that'd be really interesting, and I'd love to see something like that happen in the game later on down the line. Who knows? This post specifically caught my eye because of the little dev response tag that it has, and I had to look and see what the developers were saying in this comment section, and it bodes pretty well for me, and I think it's a good thing. Of course, this post sparked some interesting discussion about the state of the game and how we can better it and all of that, and I'm sure there's lots of good stuff in here, but I went in and I cherry-picked some stuff. This comment goes into detail about their specific experience and why they believe the game got such a negative response upon release, and I can agree with some of their points, but not all of them. I think looking at this game as the only game you'll ever play is a mistake regardless. I know I've said that before, especially before it came out, but I know now that that mindset is flawed regardless of if the game is perfect or not. I wouldn't be wanting to play one game for my entire life. It's just not in me. But I totally understand the sentiment, and I don't blame you for thinking that if you do. But I did find the dev response to that comment very interesting, and they talk about how they're reading the comments, reading the posts, and taking the feedback, and I think that's a really good thing for the state of the game. Crystal Dynamics' Dan Matlack was in the comments and responding to a bunch of things, and this specific content really caught my attention. For me, it feels really good that a developer is just stating that they are seeing the posts and that they're active on the subreddit. That really does bode well for the future of this video game. I think it's only a good thing. Realize that I didn't turn off the big light, and I should do that. Hopefully that doesn't fuck up my green screen too much in post. It is, however, unfortunate that they could not really go into detail about their future plans and that they have to just limit it at what's on the roadmap, because there's not very much on the roadmap other than, of course, Spider-Man, but that's kind of limiting the player base to what they're gonna see, and that is really sad for me. This post is actually just a direct link to a tweet that the Play Avengers account on Twitter made, and that is kind of hilarious, but I also found it very interesting. It is a very direct response to players' criticisms about loot and gear and addressing that going forward, and I think that's a huge thing for this game because it's one of the biggest complaints that I hear all of the time. And personally, I find loot incredibly boring to the point where I haven't learned about really how it works. I just equip the best stuff, and I don't read what it actually does. I don't look too far into it. Bigger number means better loot, and that's what I equip. That's how I deal with loot. So making it better and making it more interesting would probably get me to read that stuff a little more and probably improve my experience in a pretty big way. And this kind of goes against what I've said in previous videos, and that's because it goes against what they've said in previous dev live streams and announcements, and that Loot 2.0 is going to be smaller chunks released over the course of a long period of time. It seems like they're really buckling down and trying to get it improved before the end of the year, which is a good thing, I think. But of course, I could be wrong, and we will see. Who knows? Now for a more lighthearted post. Let's talk about the What If skins that should be coming to this game, because it's a real crime if they don't get in there. What If had some really interesting character moments, especially the Zombies episode, that could be turned into really, really good skins. As you can see in this post, they use Captain America as an example. I also saw Iron Man. Go find that for yourself if you're interested, though. I don't know why I'm flipping you off. But for me, one that would be really, really interesting is if when Doctor Strange is introduced, we get to see evil Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme guy with the Christine issues, show up in the video game. That'd be really fucking cool. What if skin would you love to see come to Marvel's Avengers? Let me know in those comments. This next clip focuses on entrances into the game when you jump out of the Quinjet, and this is a clip from Marvel Future Revolution, and basically seeing something like this in the game would be pretty cool. The ones that we have now are kind of cookie cutter, and I'd love to see variations, maybe even unlockables, maybe even cosmetics that you have to buy. I don't even know. Just something to switch up how it feels to jump into a game. That'd be pretty fun. Not super important, obviously, and could easily be implemented, but, you know, I would love to see it. Well, I say easily implemented. I don't really know how easy, but it would not be the most difficult thing in the world, and I don't think it's worth prioritizing over something like loot. That's much more important to the game as a whole. Now, this post by Wolverine Kazuri is indeed one that I really wanted to talk about because it touches on a subject that I saw a bunch of people raving mad about, and I saw a bunch of people defending, and I'm interested in what you guys think about. And that is, of course, the use of Tony's beard on the Captain America Infinity War skin. And I've seen a lot of people explode and be like, we're reusing assets? That's so lazy, it's so weak, it's so bad, I don't care, get this out of my face. But frankly, like, this is just good development and good artwork. It's just a good use of assets. You can't create something new every single time. Reusing is the name of the game, especially in game development. Like in the new Spider-Man game for PS5, do you think they're going to completely rework that web swinging mechanic from the ground up to make it better? No, they're gonna take what they had, maybe make some tweaks and some improvements and reuse it in the new game. It's not going to be fresh, it's not gonna be new, it's gonna be pretty much the same. And that's because it's good and they don't have to completely rebuild it. And the same kind of thing applies to artwork. Do you think they just scrapped all of the models from the first game? No, of course they didn't. And I know for a fact that they're gonna be using the remastered one, especially for Peter, because they put a lot of work into that when they remastered the game. And I'm sure there will be some visual improvements, whether it's just the engine being more optimized or something along those lines, but it's not going to be brand new, and it never will be. That's not how game development works. So this kind of thing happens all of the time, and in this case it is pretty noticeable, and that's kind of unfortunate because it's made people really mad, and I don't think it should, frankly. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Once again, please, I appreciate your input, and maybe I missed something incredibly obvious. I'd love to hear about that. I saved this post because I wanted to touch on exclusivity, and I did a whole video on that where I talk about exclusivity and where the line is in this video here. If you're interested, feel free to go watch it. But I will touch on it briefly here because I've seen a lot of people echoing the same sentiment that Spider-Man's release will kind of fracture the community, and that's not wrong, it kind of will. The fact that a third of the community is getting a big content update that nobody else will really see or feel is really sad. And I am one of the people that initially bought it on PC because I didn't think I'd really care that much when Spider-Man came out, but I did end up buying it later on PlayStation because I do want to play that character. I might have spent way too much money on this game, I'm just realizing, but so be it, I guess. But yeah, when that Sony event happens for Spider-Man and no one else can participate in it, people are gonna feel a little bad about not being able to have that content. And for Xbox and PC players, it will feel really, really bad, and there's no getting around that, and it's something I'm sure they're aware of and have to deal with, and I'm wondering what they're gonna do, if anything, for those people that are missing out. I hope it's something, because if it's not something, then that's gonna feel pretty fucking shitty. I think this face from Harry Osborn in the Raimi trilogy really does sum up the vibe. Recolors for skins people like in Marvel's Avengers is no surprise to anyone at this point, but I do think that this would be a very good one. Just taking that Iron Man 1 suit and making it entirely silver to make that fit like the Mark II, that's a genius idea. They're basically the same fucking thing. And it would be pretty fun to fly around in just a fucking silver suit that looks like the Iron Man 1 suit. It'd feel pretty cool, I have to admit. I would love to see lots of MCU recolors, even if they aren't accurate to the movies. Like, those you can recolor and people will probably like, as long as they're not, you know, literally shit colored. I don't know what you guys were thinking with this one, but I guess somebody must have liked it, probably. Editor Jake from the future here, and I'm an idiot and forgot to record an entire Reddit post like a dumbass, but here we go. This post I picked out specifically because it was absolutely hilarious and referred to co-op traversal, which is amazing. This is so incredibly brilliant. Like, seriously, just look at this. The idea of flying around and carrying your teammate is absolutely ingenious. This would be so fun. Like, as Nat, you can just look back and pew pew at people as you fly behind them. That's amazing. This would be so fun, dude. How could I have forgotten to record this bit? It's so cool. I love this image of Cap just being carried by Thor with its little shield. It's so cute. He's adorable here. It's Super Soldier. We're like super carried idiot. Have you considered subscribing to the SyncroChamp channel? It would help me out a lot if you did. I'd appreciate it a lot. Also, click on another video while you're here if you're interested. I make lots of them. New videos go up every single week about superhero video games. I also have a TikTok and a Twitter and an Instagram that I don't post to. Thank you guys for watching. If you're still here, you're the best, and I will see you guys in the next one. And if the thing isn't over, I'm just gonna keep dancing.